He doesn't.
I know. I'm just kidding.
All right, we're going to start recording in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome to the Black Sheep Recovery Warfare Podcast. And now, here's your hosts, John Gallagher, Monica Weber.
Welcome back to the Black Sheep Recovery Warfare Podcast. I'm your host, John Gallagher, and Monica is out of town today. Her and her wonderful daughter are in Biloxi on a little mini vacay, and stepping in on co-host duties today is none other than the legendary Amber Thomison herself.
Hooray!
Yes.
Clapping, clapping,
Yes.
clapping.
If you remember correctly, or if you're new here, Amber is a former guest. She's been in here before. And if you have not seen her episode, go to the YouTube channel and check that out. And if you are new here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button and the follow and do all the cool stuff and share and comment. Let us know where you're watching from. And let's see. Today is not surface level. Today is a testimony of survival, trauma, addiction, and the relentless mercy of God. I'm John Gallagher here. My host today, Amber Thomison, and our guest today is Brandi Renae. Amber, when you hear a story like Brandi's, what stands out to you about God's patience?
The continuity of it, the perseverance that he has to push through to get to us.
Amen.
It's consistent.
Brandi's story includes deep trauma, addiction, loss, prison, and motherhood. But above all, it's a story of God pursuing someone who didn't know how to stop running. Brandi, welcome to the Black Sheep Recovery Warfare Podcast.
Thanks for
Clap,
having me.
claps, claps.
Clap, 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 clap,
Yay,
clap,
yay,
clap,
yay,
clap.
yay.
Aggressive clap.
Yes.
Aggressive clap, yes.
Aggressive.
So, Brandi, before we dive into your story and your testimony, I would like to know, what did instability teach you about yourself at a young age?
At a young age.
At a young age, yes.
That nothing was for certain in this world. It felt like, but it also eventually I learned that I could pivot, and how important surrender was.
Amen.
Yeah.
Good answer. And what did you believe about love growing up?
That it would never happen for me.
And we get that a lot.
That it would never happen.
I think in addiction, I don't think that we know that love is possible. Yeah. How early did survival mode kick in for you?
Far back as I can remember. Far back as I can remember. I remember at one point I was pretty carefree, and I was probably 4 or 5. 4 or 5, yeah.
Let's get into it. What's your story? Let's hear it.
All right. I was born in Jackson, Mississippi, grew up in South Jackson most of my life. I pretty much I grew up with my mom for the most part. My younger brother, I had a much older half sister. We were a very different age group, you know what I'm saying? So we weren't around each other much. Let's see. I grew up in South Jackson. Yeah. I went to Oak Forest Elementary School over on Smallwood Drive, and I went there pretty consistently up until about 4th or 5th grade, and then I started having to go back and forth from Tennessee a lot. I went to several schools up there. I just bounced around a lot. I didn't really establish a lot of roots. I went to, let's say, in middle school, 6th grade was about where the bottom started falling out for me. First year, I went to Whitten Middle School.
I went to Whitten.
Yeah, that was the first time I ever got suspended. Before that, I loved school. It was my favorite place to be.
What did you get suspended for?
Skipping school. They found me in the woods
That's
next door. I know, right? They found me in the woods next. Actually, they didn't find me, but me and my friend girl had skipped school. We were going to smoke cigarettes in the woods, and
We used to do that too.
and I was so terrified to go back to the school because I didn't want to get in trouble. And I just skipped one class. It was the last class of the day. So I ended up walking all the way down from Whitten Middle School all the way to Rainy Road. Yeah,
a good walk.
my mom, yes, it was. My mom was out looking for me because I didn't get off the bus. You know, it was crazy. 7th grade, I went to Byram Middle School. 8th grade, I went to Pearl, or maybe 7th grade Pearl. Yeah, 7th grade Pearl and Byram in 8th grade. So I moved a lot.
Were you with your mom still the whole time?
Most of the time, yeah.
When did substances come into play?
About 12 years old. My parents owned a bar. My dad and my stepmama owned a bar. They got that bar when I was about 8.
Mm.
And
Very popular bar in Jackson.
yes. And it's still there. It's been there for I think 33 years.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same customers.
Debo's
Lounge. Yeah. Yeah, we lost my stepmom back in February, and since then my stepsister has been handling the business there now.
This past February.
Yeah,
I heard about that.
Yeah, this
Sorry
past
for you.
February. Let's see. My mother, she didn't never really have a mom. You know, she grew up in foster care. Her mom died on her very first birthday, and she ended up in foster care at about 3, I think she told me, and so she bounced around her whole life, and so now we have a great relationship. I'm so grateful for the relationship we have. That's the restoration that the Lord has given us, and I'm grateful for it. Is it perfect? No. But is it restored? Definitely.
Amen.
Yes. So my mom liked to go out and drink a lot. And so at about 12, 13 years old, I was her designated driver. We would go bar hopping. They allowed me in the bars because they knew who my dad was. So I was always in a bar room. I didn't drink back then. I smoked a lot of weed, and but I was always the one that made sure my mom got where she needed to go safely, you know, and we'd hang out with the bands that were performing and stuff. It was wild times, really. Really it was.
Got you. Let's get into all right, so I remember from your story about your mother's car accident. Are we ready to get into that, or is there anything
We
before
can.
that? Okay.
There's
so much, yeah.
it's a lot.
I
It
know- I
really
remember
is.
that
That's
this-
why
I
I lose
remember-
track.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
So I remember from that part of the story that was a big turning point right there.
Well, I think I was probably about 16, 17. Like I had already started injecting.
Yeah.
You know, I was already so far into addiction at that age already, and it's crazy because right before my mom's accident, she had had a house in Pearl, and it was probably the most stable we had been. We stayed there for a few years, but I was so just wild. I didn't want to stay there. She couldn't control me. I didn't want to be there. We were always going to jail for fighting out in the front yard and stuff. I mean, it was some crazy stuff. So I had moved in with my dad. Finally, I could move in with my daddy. I was so excited about that. And my little brother, like, we're loading up the last moving truck. My mom had decided she was going to move to Texas, and we're packing up that last U-Haul for her to go. And my brother at that last minute decides he wants to stay. He don't want to go. And so my brother had moved in with us at my dad's house. I'm not sure the timeline of
This was the house in Byram?
in Byram.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that Amanda lived
Yeah,
with me
I
in.
remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he told me y'all knew each other outside of recovery too.
Yeah, we met at O'Charlie's in Pearl when I was probably 20. I think my dad was still, I don't know if he had passed yet or not, but I was 19 when he passed.
When I met you at O'Charlie's, there was a lot of cocaine going on.
There was a lot,
Yeah.
lot, yes.
That restaurant was fueled by cocaine and
alcohol.
yeah, it was ridiculous.
It was so bad.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
We would literally hold on, and we would get off work sometimes, and there was a hotel right next door. And we would go get a room. About 20 of us would pile up in this room, do coke all night,
Yes.
and go back to work the next day.
Because we
work
were
a
all the
dou- work-
closing and opening servers. That's
right.
why.
And we would go work a double the next day. Anyway, continue.
All right. Where were we?
So we were talking about your
about my mom.
father.
Yeah, okay.
You were about to move into your father's house.
Excuse me. So, I moved into my dad's. My little brother ended up coming along a little bit after that. And my mom had moved to Texas. She had packed up everything that we had and hauled butt to Texas. And so she comes back to visit for my brother's birthday. And I think it was his 15th birthday. And she had stayed the weekend. Well, she got plastered. And I think it was on a Sunday. And I was just coming in from partying all that week. You know, it had been a long week for me. She wanted me to take her to get more beer. We got into a huge fight. Um, I went to bed. It was probably about 11:30. I went to bed, and I woke up straight up like 7 o'clock the next morning, and I was like, "Where is my mom? This is not like her." You know, this is not like her. So I went and woke up my dad. I was like, "Dad, where's mom?" You know, he was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "She didn't come home." And him and my stepmom got up immediately, and they called a friend of my dad's, which was a supervisor for JPD, a nighttime supervisor. And the phone call that my dad got was not a good one. He had got the phone call that my mom had been killed in a drunk driving incident. And it was actually, praise God, it was the opposite. She had actually killed somebody else. She had got on the interstate going the wrong way at Elton Road. It was before they had all those street lights down through there. And I don't know, she had a head-on collision. So I'm like flipping out. I'm trying to drive myself. You know, my dad had took my keys, hid them from me. He was like, "No, we're gonna figure out what's going on before we go up here." And so he drives me. I'm like, "She's at University Hospital." I have no idea how I knew this, but I knew that's where she was. I was like, "Take me to UMMC right now. If you don't, I know that's where she's at. Just take me." And we ended up going up there, and she was still in surgery. She had been in surgery for like 12 hours, I think. And they were trying to save her leg. They did save her leg, but she had just extensive injuries. Her whole left side of her body. Like, I remember going to her car at the impound lot, and I took the tag off of her car. It said "Tata." I don't know why, but I kept that thing forever. And it was like this old Buick Riviera. It was like an '88 model Buick Riviera, and her shoe was still lodged into where the bottom of the floorboard had come up into the car. And I tried to get it out. I remember fighting with this thing, and I melted down at this car lot, or this impound lot, because I was like, "There's just no way that she survived." And then parked right across from her was the other guy's car, and it was like a little Honda Civic, and the steering wheel was in the back glass where the back glass should have been. So it just like folded him up. You know what I mean? It was horrific.
I had a Buick save my life in a car accident. I can tell you, it was a
Yes.
1969 Buick Regal, and it was just a hunk of steel.
Yes.
And, you know, those little Honda Civics are nothing compared
Nothing
to those
compared
old
to that.
Buicks.
No, you were right about
It
that.
saved my life.
Dang, I think I might go get me a Buick. We'll say.
I think I was a 16-year-old driver. I think every teenage driver needs a model in those
Yes.
decades of a Buick.
Yes.
Yeah. So you said that. All right. So she went through multiple surgeries, things like that, and you said I remember from your story that that you were up there every day,
I was.
and you were mean,
Oh,
and you were
God.
hateful.
I was horrible.
Can you explain when you say were you mean to her?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
You want to talk about that?
Well, I mean, I was so angry at her, especially after the police came, and
Yeah.
I realized that how serious it was.
Yeah.
Because at first I was just concerned, and
Right.
I was angry because she had done this. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
was so mad. And then once the police came, I was a terror. I was so angry. I was so mad. I was like, "You're gonna go to prison for the rest of your life."
Yeah.
You know, all because of this dang drinking, you know, and I was mean.
But you were grateful that she was alive.
I think I was. I'd like to
Yeah.
think I was,
Yeah.
you know, throughout all of it. Yeah.
Well, I feel like obviously you were, or you wouldn't have been up there every day.
Yeah, and that's true.
Unless you're
Yeah, I
not,
mean, I like to
yeah.
think, I like to believe that I was. I really do. Because I love my mom.
Yeah.
You know, even in the mess, even in all of it, I love her.
Was that a turning point for your mother to calm down, quit drinking, or anything like that? Unfortunately, no.
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
She's battled that for all of her life.
Yeah.
You know, and she's been doing really good lately. You know,
Awesome. Okay.
so that's good.
We'll be praying for her. What happened after that? As far as you, are we getting all right? So, at this point, where's your father at?
He passed away. Whenever my mom got sentenced and went to prison,
Mhm.
I think it had been about a year after she had been locked up about a year.
Yeah,
How
I
long
remember.
did she end up getting? Did you say
She got 10 years.
okay?
So
think
she
that's
did
what I
like two and a
remember.
half. She did like 2.5
Yeah, I
years.
remember from your
Yeah.
story, you thought she was gone forever.
I did.
Yeah, you
I
thought that was
did
a
because
wrap.
she had killed a man, and
Yeah.
I was mad about that. You
Yeah,
know, because he
so-
had a son the same age as me. Come to find
Yeah.
out, you know, and I was mad.
Yeah.
I was so mad. I already grew up a pretty angry little girl, like
Mhm.
just in the violence and the the mental, emotional, just all the abuse that I went through at a younger age. You know what I mean? And seeing my mom go through it the way she did, like
When-
I was mean.
When you say abuse at a younger age, do you want to be more specific?
yeah.
Or
Well,
if you don't have to, whatever.
just know that I'm
Okay.
tough.
I got you.
Just know
So
I'm
it
tough.
sounds like
Yeah.
sounds like that you had to grow up very young.
I did.
So, well, we're thankful that you're here.
Thank
And
you.
so, I remember from your story, you said that leading up to your father's death, everybody y'all knew he's sick.
We knew he was sick.
Yeah,
He was so stubborn.
yeah.
He would not go to the doctor. He had a friend that was a pharmacist that would give him like cough syrup and stuff. So he would just kind of deal with the symptoms. My grandmother, his mama, she went through chemo and radiation and stuff. I mean, she was ate up with cancer, and he seen her suffer through that. And he did not want to do it,
Mhm.
and he kept having like digestive issues and stuff. And we knew that there was something wrong, and something big wrong, and he didn't want to know. And so finally, I'd been out there being wild. And I remember I called him on a Thursday night. I had a friend that let me stay in his camper the night before. He was going to give me a ride there and give me a ride home afterwards, but I was going to start being his office manager at this construction company that he had out in Florence. And he was like, well, look, just crash here in the camper, and I'll pick you up for work. We'll start you a new job tomorrow, you know, whatever. And I don't remember why I was starting. No, I was supposed to start that Monday. I'm sorry. But he let me crash in the camper, and I remember calling my dad, and I was so excited. I was like, Daddy, I got a job, you know? And he was like, and I could tell in his voice that he wasn't, something was wrong. And he was like, well, baby, I'm in the hospital. I was like, what do you mean you're in the hospital? And he said, I had to come to the emergency room. And he didn't go into detail. He didn't tell me anything really. But the last conversation I had with him was the night before he passed. And I was like, Daddy, I'm just going to come up there and stay with you. I'll just get him to pick, my friend to pick me up from the hospital. I'll just stay there till I have to be at work. And he was like, no, baby, stay where you're at. He was like, I love you. He used to call me his scooter booter. So he said, I love you,
Yeah.
scooter booter. I'll talk to you in the morning. That was the last conversation we had.
He didn't want you to see him like
He
that.
didn't. He didn't.
He spared you from that.
He did. And so, of course, I ended up not starting that job. I ended
Yeah.
up at the hospital, and I remember running through the halls of Merritt, what is it, CMMC? Same thing,
Wrong
right?
one.
Same thing.
For those of you at home, CMCF is
It's
the
a
prison.
prison.
CMC is the hospital.
Mhm.
Okay, and she's obviously been to both.
Yeah. Well, see, whenever I found out that he had passed, they didn't tell me that he was gone. My stepmom called me and she was like, Brandi, you need to get up here. It's serious. And I'm like, what do you mean it's serious? And she said, you just need to get here now. I said, okay. So I'm like running through the hospital, freaked out, probably had been up for a while too. So that don't help anything, especially whenever you're trying to figure out where you're going in a hospital. But,
What was the diagnosis? What was it?
they're saying what we were told is that they had started him on radiation, and that he had a blood clot about the size of my fist on the main artery that runs in his lung, and that the radiation had caused the blood clot and it killed him. And I remember whenever I got there, I walked into the room, and he was just laying there, and my brother was there, and my stepmom was there, and I don't know how long I stood there. I stood there for a while, and I was like, wait a minute, why is there no machines? You know, why is there no IV? Like, what's going on? And then I touched him. I knew. Yeah. So, they kicked me out of the hospital then too, I think. I've been kicked out of a few.
He was daddy's girl.
I was a big daddy's girl. Me and him were super tight.
Well, I know that he is so very proud of you now.
For sure. Yes, for sure.
What happened after that? I think you moved into the house, did you take over the house?
Well, that took a little while. I'm
That was a
not
while?
really. It's all a lot of it's real blurry.
Yeah,
But
I get it.
I remember we had the funeral, and I
Mhm.
remember literally had the funeral. I walked out the doors and got into the vehicle with a friend of mine. Looked down, and there's like a milk jug full of mushrooms, like shroom juice, and I don't remember nothing. Like I have absolutely no recollection of what occurred from getting in that truck until several months later. And I was not in that truck anymore, obviously, but
Yeah.
I was wandering around out in the field on another friend of mine's property,
Lost.
lost. You know, and I don't remember nothing. I don't know what happened, but during that time is whenever my stepmom and my brother moved out of the house.
Mm.
And a couple of years later, my stepmom told me, she was like, look, we weren't trying to abandon you. I was terrified I was going to go to prison. Every time I walked in the house, there was, you know, the table would be covered in drugs. You'd be passed out on the couch. I didn't know what was going on, but I knew that I couldn't go to prison for this. So,
Your stepmother.
yeah, my stepmom.
So your stepmother and your brother were living there,
Yeah, they were.
and you were staying there, and you were just constantly using
Mhm.
and leaving stuff out,
Yeah.
things like that. When did the all right? So after they moved out, it took some time, and then you took over the house. You moved into the house.
Yeah, yeah, I stayed there. I remember I left all the furniture exactly how it was for a couple of years. Like it was my grandmother's furniture. It was so
Mhm.
old. But my dad used to sleep on the couch,
Mhm.
and there was an indention in the armrest, and I would go and lay in that thing for days at a time and just cry. um,
So I remember from your story, there was a point where you were selling, you were making your. I mean, is that? Let's talk about your legal stuff.
mm.
When did the law start getting into your
Yeah.
life?
Well, I got arrested for the first time at 13
Yeah.
for Walmart for shoplifting, but I caught my first felony at 17. And that was a malicious mischief felony. I never was convicted though, because I wasn't telling on myself.
I'm sure the statute of limitations.
It has expired, but
Yeah.
still, I don't trust
I
it.
I understand. Well, moving on.
I don't trust
Yeah, I don't
it.
trust it.
That's
I
it.
don't trust them.
You and me both, sisters.
Yeah, nope. So let's see. I want to say I got arrested. There's been so many times. I mean, in that house alone,
Yeah.
like it was
I feel ya.
crazy.
Amanda and
Yeah.
I did a lot of drugs in that.
Yeah,
We
a
did.
lot of people did a lot of
Amanda,
drugs in that
yeah, I
house.
know, but like
Yeah.
Amanda lived with Brandi for a period, and I stayed there a little bit here and there, and it was rough. I mean, it was
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. Another thing that really kind of shaped a lot of my life was the relationships that I would get involved with. That's what let's see, the first felony, I'm gonna go back to that. I'm
No,
sorry.
we can
Yeah.
jump back.
Yeah. Well, my first real like drug charge was possession of precursor, I want to say.
Yeah.
No, it was possession with intent. I'm sorry. And trying to remember. I got arrested for that with one of my ex-boyfriends. They had come there looking for him. Ended up charging me with the drugs because it was my house. So I'm out on bond for that. I get with another guy. We move into my house, you know what I'm saying? Doing the most. We had went on this hunt. It was whenever they put the limitations on the pseudoephedrine pills.
Yeah.
And
Started locking them up.
yeah. Well, you had a 2-box max.
Yeah,
like,
2-box
you
max,
could buy.
yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
we were
Making their loot.
making the loops
Yep.
all over Mississippi, and I had told this guy, I was like, "Look, I've already bought 2 boxes this month." You know what I'm saying? I can't buy anymore. And me and him got into a physical fight in the back of a Jeep, like in the back seat of a Jeep. He was like, "Just go in there and try. Just go in there and try." I was like, "You know what? I'm going to go in there and try." And so I did. They refused to sell them to me. And so, like, a couple of weeks later, here comes NBN knocking on my door. And they're like, "Aren't you on a bond for a felony, possession with intent?" And I'm like, "Yep, that's me." And then they came into the house, and that's whenever they found everything you needed to cook one off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was crazy. So I went to jail for that again. Section 29, had to sit in jail for a little while. I've done a lot with the law, like been involved with a lot of stuff, like with my friends and stuff. I had testified in court for somebody, and one of the police officers, one of the NBN officers, or Hines County Narcotics, he wasn't NBN, I don't think. He got he did not like me. He did not like me at all. I ended up testifying in court. He ended up losing his job. Just a whole thing. And so whenever he seen my name come across that paperwork, it was just a whole thing. It really was. He was actually protesting my release. Like, the judge signed off for me to get out, and he was releasing me on my own recognizance. I was going to go straight into some kind of probation thing. I had an attorney at the time. He was, advocated for me, and it ended up. They were supposed to release me on one day. 9 days later, I'm still sitting in jail with the judge's order to have released me. And so my ex, he went and found I think it was 16, Channel 16, found one of their little cars at a gas station or whatever. And he had a copy of my release papers and went to them and was like, "Hey, y'all want a story? They're not releasing prisoners, you know what I'm saying, whenever they're supposed to, even with the judge's order," and ended up getting me out that day. But the madness continued. Me and him ended up breaking up. At some point, we ended up breaking up, and I was right back into another relationship, catching more charges. The next set of charges was I remember what happened. I had 3 different felony charges in Hines County. I got sentenced to 5 years for each one, 10 suspended, 5 to serve, and they gave me time served because I'd already completed 5 years on paper. And so I got a super sweet deal, and still I messed it up. You know what I mean? I went back out there, ended up getting with another guy, and we was selling a lot of drugs, and we were also had a lot of boosters, people that were robbing people, breaking into everything. It was just a dangerous time in life. Hotel surfing, anywhere in the state of Mississippi, we were liable to be in a hotel selling some dope out of it. And they wanted him real bad. They wanted me too because I was his accomplice. And so they got me and him together 3 different times. They arrested us the first time, and they didn't really have nothing on us that time. And then the second time they did. Well, that second time they charged us with possession with intent while in possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. And I sat in jail for about 3 or 4 months in Rankin County. And he decided he was going to snitch. And I'm sitting there waiting on Canteen to come on a Friday, and I get called out to the little horseshoe, and they call me down. I think they're taking me to the booking, where the booking cell is over there. They don't. There's like a little door right there. Apparently it's an office. I had no idea. Yeah, so they pull me into this little office, and I'm wearing red and white stripes, felony, and he's sitting there in green. And I'm like, "How are you a misdemeanor?" You know what I mean? He was like, "Well, hello, sweetheart." I'm like, "What's going on?" You know what I'm saying? What is going on here? Well, he said, arresting officer, John Johnson at the time, he said, "We're going to let you out of here today. We're going to drop your charge to a misdemeanor." I'm like, "How does that work? Like, what has happened here?" And ex-boyfriend is like, "Don't worry, I took care of it." I'm like, "Don't worry my butt. The people we fool with are going to kill me." You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing it. Like, no. They ended up releasing me, and we went back to court for that. They dropped it to a misdemeanor, and then ended up getting caught up again like a month or 2 later. They NBN pit maneuvered us off the road. It was a setup. I got a sales charge then. And the whole time during that sales charge, I knew it was a setup and was fighting with this guy, telling him, why do we have to why do we have to cross that bridge? Once we cross that bridge, it's over with, and it was. It was. They hit me with the habitual in. And, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it gets confusing because I've been in trouble so much. You know what I'm saying?
No, I
It's
mean,
just
I've
so much.
I've heard similar stories.
Yeah.
Sitting right
Like,
here. But,
yeah, apparently I like wearing handcuffs.
So this time it's final.
Mhm.
I bet you're about to go to prison. So let's talk about prison.
Oh, I knew I was going to prison
Yeah.
at that point. But I will say this is where God really, truly met me.
Yeah.
Like, truly. I was in the same zone, 220, for about 8-9 months, and wasn't really much to do. I would walk around that zone every single day. I'm talking about from the time I woke up to the time I
But where was this?
in Rankin County Jail.
Good man.
220?
Yeah, 220. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would walk around this zone, like, read with my Bible in my hand, and I would just read. And I was doing every Bible study that I could get for free mailed in. I was doing all these Bible studies. And then,
I was
yeah.
going to ask you about that. Go ahead.
Yeah. And then there was this man with the Church of Christ. His name was Ken Gardner. And he was a true blessing in my life. He was like, "Look, you've got to slow down. I can't keep up with
He
you."
literally, you requested so much material. He literally came to see you.
He did. He started
Yeah.
coming, and we started meeting every Friday at
Mhm.
like 1:00, I think it was. He started coming. We meet in the little visitation room, and dude, I mean, it blew the word wide open for me. Like,
Yeah.
the word came to life in those moments, and
What was it about the word that grabbed you in jail? Like when you said it came to life. Can you explain or what that means?
ooh, well, it started out reading Jeremiah. The book of Jeremiah just really resonated with me, and I've studied it a lot,
Yeah.
But Jeremiah 29:11 became my life verse. My mom initially had sent me she used to send me cards. Like, she was faithful, and I'd get 2 cards a week, you know what I mean? But she had this, like, collection that somebody gave her, and I kept getting the same one over and over again, and it had Jeremiah 29:11 on the front of it.
Mm.
And so that's what made me start looking for it. And I just got to reading, and I don't really know how to explain it. It started making sense to me for once in my life. Like,
Right.
I could actually follow it and understand what it meant, and it made me want to dig deeper. I'd have other people's Bibles, so I'd have different, translations and
So it
stuff.
comes
Right.
alive.
It does.
And what's cool about that, so when you hear somebody say that the Lord spoke to me, well, that's how He speaks to us,
That's
is
right.
through His Word.
That's
Yes.
right.
So He's literally speaking to you, speaking to your heart, and He's starting to transform you.
Yes. And see, that's another thing is that I started noticing the change with the change in me. I didn't want to hang out with these people anymore. You know what I mean? Even being locked in that little zone, you know what I mean? There's 25 women in there maybe. Like, I stopped sitting at the table playing spades all day
Mhm.
instead, and sitting there gambling,
Mhm.
I stopped doing that. And instead I just wanted to walk around in a circle and read the word. That was
Mhm.
it.
He was drawing near to you.
He was.
Had you had any exposure to the Word or to God or Jesus throughout your life at all?
There was a little bit.
Mm.
There was there was another Van Carter with Berea Baptist Church. I remember whenever I was probably 11 or 12. I remember seeing the church van used to come through there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ran out in the middle of the road and I waved him down. I'm like in front of the van. I'm like waving him down. I'm like, please take me with you. And and he did. And he did. He went up to the door, asked my mom if I could come, of course. And so I started going every Wednesday and Sunday. And
Oh, wow.
he would come and pick me up, and me and several
Seeds-
other kids.
Seeds are planted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's still the pastor of Berea Baptist Church too.
No.
So shout out to them.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So they made you trustee.
Yeah, they did make me trustee. And, let me back up on the trustee, because
Okay,
before I made trustee, I got the indictment papers.
No.
I thought that I didn't know anything about the habitual or subsequent coming. I just knew that there was a possession with intent while having a firearm as
Yeah.
a convicted felon, which was serious enough in my mind,
Oh, yeah.
And whenever I got the indictment, I remember walking back into that zone with those papers, but I had complete and total peace about it. And
Right.
and everybody's like, "You're crazy." You know what I'm saying? Like, you really need to be scared. And I'm
You're about to
like,
do 25 years.
"You're about to do 25, man." I'm like, I was like,
Yeah,
"No,
but I get
I
to
don't
do it
think
with
I
God,
am."
so we're
Yeah.
gonna be all right.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
I was like, I don't think I'm doing 25. I don't think I'm doing 25. And you know, yeah, of course there was a certain amount of fear there, but I'm telling you, I just dug deeper in the word. And then right at the same, it was kind of simultaneously. I was making trustee. I made trustee. There was at this time there was only 2 female trustees. It was one that stayed, you know, sorry, in the zones, and then one that would go up and work in the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
And so I got to be the one that was in the sheriff's office, and I think it had everything to do with me doing my Bible studies with Ken Gardner, you know, and just
Sure.
just doing the right thing. And me and this girl, and the other female trustee they picked, we both started, seeking validation is what it felt like. I was, I'd been, locked in this little zone, and it was like all of a sudden, I had attention on me again, and so I started writing letters with these dudes, or with this dude, and my ex also, he was trying to pass them off too, and she ended up. I'm sorry, I gotta say this though. She ended up going on to one of the other male trustees. They got together after they left there, and she ended up having 2 kids with him.
Come on.
Yeah,
The Lord works in
well.
mysterious ways, right?
Yeah, it was crazy though. So I mean, anyways, so that I ended up getting caught with the letters. It was the stupidest thing in the world. I felt so stupid. They put me on lockdown. I think it was like 60 days. They put me on lockdown.
So
that.
you weren't fully surrendered yet.
No, I was
Okay.
not. I was not, and I didn't realize I wasn't until
Right.
that happened.
right.
And went on to prison, and it was like everything just kind of.
So you were kicked out of the trustee
I
program?
was kicked out of the trustee program. They
Okay.
sent my little butt right to prison. But I ended up getting. Let's see, it was a 16-year sentence. They pled out to subsequent. They gave me 16 years, suspended 6. I did 2.5, the exact same amount of time I ended up doing as my mom did on the charge. And my charge partner ended up getting 88 years,
Whoa.
and 60 of it was supposed to be mandatory.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a crazy time for sure. But yeah, I went on to prison. I pretty much, I'm not gonna say I stopped seeking the Lord, but I kind of did, And whenever I got out of prison, within a couple of days, I was right back using. I had absolutely no intentions on getting clean.
How long total did you end up serving?
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a blessing
Yeah.
considering what you were
Yeah.
facing.
Exactly.
I was going to say, you didn't get, you
Yeah.
got 10% of what you were supposed to
Right.
get.
Right.
I know another girl like that. So you're back out, you're free. You go right back to your vomit.
Mhm.
And it gets a little bit darker here, doesn't it?
It does.
You want to talk about it?
Sure.
Come on.
Yeah. So I get out of prison. I end up completing like 7 years on parole, reporting twice a month, completely high the entire time.
Yeah, I remember. I was going to ask you about that. How did you
I read
manage?
that.
How did you manage to do that? To go through 7 years.
I don't
of
know, because I
parole and
report.
probation. Because I report twice a month, and it just blew my mind when I read that. How did she manage that? I can only think of one
I
answer.
report twice a month.
Yeah, but I can only think of one answer of the protection and the favor of God that kept her from getting through all of that, being still in addiction.
Right.
That's crazy to me.
Well, I was moving different. I'll say that. I always maintained a job, regardless of anything else I was doing. I had a job, except for whenever I was like real heavy into selling, because I couldn't work like that.
Yeah, but did you get tested a lot?
Yeah, I did. I failed several.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
so
you
you were
failed.
failing.
Yeah, I was failing
Okay.
them. They just weren't doing anything to me about it at
This
the time.
Hines County?
No,
no,
it
it's
was
Rankin
Rankin
County.
County.
For real?
Really?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
I'm telling
Wow.
you, that girl's
I
got
used a lot
favor
of.
on
I
her,
used a
son.
lot of. I learned how to use fake pee a lot too. So you know what
Wow,
I
dude.
Yeah,
mean.
but you also failed a lot.
I did
mean,
fail a lot. You know.
Okay, well, God bless.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. I really still to this. It's nothing but God because
Nothing but,
I
I mean.
have no idea how I completed 7 years of parole.
Not saying that God endorses that or
No.
says it's okay. Uh, I just, I don't know what else you would account it for, being able to complete that and God keeping that prison door shut for
Right.
you
Right.
and continuously giving you grace.
Yeah. Well, I didn't catch any new charges is what the main thing was, I think. Like I said, like I moved a lot differently. I wasn't staying in hotels anymore. I wasn't living from hotel to hotel. I mean, I was homeless a lot of it, but I didn't have to actually live outside, praise God. I would just couch surf and couch surf and couch surf. And
You know, now I'm thinking about it. About 3 weeks ago, I got arrested. You know, I did. I got
Remember
arrested. I'm
that.
still on parole. And, you know, it wasn't a big deal. It was some fine stuff from 2011, you know, driving suspended license, misdemeanor stuff. So the next day, I called my parole officer and, hey, man, look, I'm checking in next week, but I wanted to go ahead and let you know that I got arrested yesterday. You know what he said? I don't care. Those were his 3 words exactly. He said, I don't care. He's like, well, felony? No. He's like, oh, well, you're good. Just be here next week. I'm like, all right, I'll see you next week, bro.
Yeah,
You know,
my parole officer's the same way. No felonies.
Yeah.
Internally, I was like, oh my God, he's gonna violate me. You know,
Mhm.
I'm like, man, he's gonna violate me. You know, I didn't get no sleep that night. I was like, I can call
Yeah.
him first thing in the morning. You know. Anyway, moving forward, so you're off parole now.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
No, not now,
No,
but
no.
like at this point,
At this
in your
time, I
story.
still wasn't off parole. I probably still had about a year and a half left. That's whenever COVID hit. Is about the time, and that's another reason why I didn't get violated is because
They
COVID
let a
was
lot of people off in COVID.
Yeah, look, COVID. They weren't even. I don't even remember them drug testing during that period. So that's another grace area I had. You know, but so let's see. I had been working at my stepmom's bar, is what it was. I'd been working at her bar, and I'd moved in with her, me and another ex, another.
Still Debo.
Yep, still at Debo's. And so I'd moved in with her because she was on oxygen. You know, I wanted to be able to help her out and also help myself at the same time because I was homeless. Like I said, me and him were, and so I'm living with her, working at the bar. So I was at the tail end of this relationship. Met another guy at the bar and ended up going crazy for him. And I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm just going to leave right now. COVID was going on. All the bars were shut down. I couldn't work anymore. And I was like, I'm just done. I'm just going to go over here and do this instead. And so I packed up all my little stuff in my 100-pound pit bull and we rode out to Pearl. And we're staying in a 1-bedroom apartment with 2 other adults and one of them 16-year-old kid, me, the 100-pound pit bull, in the village apartment.
I think I remember that dog.
Layla,
I do remember Layla.
best
Okay.
dog that ever was.
No,
I'm telling you.
Spirit's best dog.
Well,
I'm just kidding. Everybody, that's
we might have to fight over this.
I understand. I want you to share. I want you to share a story about Layla
Yeah,
and
about
what
Layla.
she meant to you. 'Cause
Man, that was
that. I don't cry much, and I don't cry at all. But that one almost got me. Yeah.
I give her credit for like teaching me how to be a mother. Like I really do. Like she was like the preface for me being a mother.
You had something to take care of.
I did. I had something to worry about other than myself.
There you go.
You know, and that was a big change for me. Like a big change for me. And then she was so big. Like she was muscular. I mean, she was scary looking if you just didn't know her. And she was so aggressive. Like she'd see you and she'd run and her paws would be on your shoulders before and knock you down before you you had to brace yourself when she came running. Like she knocked me on my butt several times. But she was a really good dog, man, and she was smart. I spent a lot of time training her. I loved her, man. I haven't had a dog since because I don't have the heart to get
Yeah.
one.
It is my opinion that God uses dogs. I'm not even gonna say opinion. To me, it's a fact that God uses dogs and sends them into your life for a purpose.
Yes.
To me, they are angels on earth because I know exactly how that feels. But anyway,
Well, I remember I then started dating this guy, and I knew that he was legally married whenever we started hanging out. I
This
knew
story's gonna be good.
it is. It's a really good story.
I have one of these.
Yeah, yeah. But I knew he was legally married, but he was like staying at his mom's house, and so I believed that it was over. You know what I mean? So I would go and stay at his mom's house with him, and we would just ride motorcycles and be at and bar hop, and that's whenever I really started drinking heavy. And I mean, I drank a lot back then. I could chug straight whiskey like it was nothing. I mean, it was bad. So we were kicking it. Let's see. We started dating, I think, in January of 2020, January or February of 2020, right before COVID, right as it was hitting or whatever. In May, his mom passed away, and so he kind of like ran back to his wife, I think is what happened, or they reconciled at some
Checks
point.
out.
But he still kept, pursuing me, and it confused the mess out of me. It did. Well, one night he had come over, and I remember. Hold on, let me back up, because I remember taking Layla for a walk. It was like sun shining. It's 75 degrees outside. It's a beautiful day. And I take her for a walk around this apartment complex. I'm trying to be careful because she's such a big dog, and I'm scared somebody's going to get scared of her and call the police on me. And I knew that they did not need to come to the apartment no matter what. And I remember we're walking, and we had walked down to like this, I don't know if you'd really call it a creek, it's more like a ditch. So we went down to this ditch, and we were coming back. And as we were coming back, I'm talking about a thunderstorm just out of nowhere starts occurring, and something broke in me, and I hit my knees, and I'm screaming at the sky. I'm like, God, I don't want to have to go back to jail or prison, but if it's your will, then so be it. I am done. I can't do this, and I'm done. And I don't know. I can't remember exactly if it was that night or the very next night, but it was probably around midnight. He was like, "I'm gonna go work on my motorcycle," and I was like, "Well, I want to go for a ride. You're gonna take me for a motorcycle ride right now. I don't care." And I'm talking about demanded to get on this motorcycle with him at midnight. We've been drinking vodka all day. I mean, it was just
Is this
ridiculous.
the married dude?
Hmm?
This is the married guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And so we get to riding this motorcycle. We're cruising probably about 100 miles an hour up 25 right before you get to Hollybush. And we're passing a car, and we're going to get back in the other lane, and a deer pops up out of the median. And me and him both seen it, the head of it, right at the front fairing, like the front wheel where that is. And so I just, that's all you really have time to do is, make sure you're not going to get knocked off, or as best you can. I mean, there's not really much you can do in a moment like that.
It's instinct.
But I remember clutching, and then my knee moved, and I was like, it took like a few, I don't know how long, it felt like it took forever for the pain to kick in. It was probably just a matter of milliseconds. But I remember I watched the neck hit my knee, the neck and the face of it, the deer hit my knee, and I seen it snap, and I seen the blood and the snot go over my head. And I don't know why it felt like it was in slow motion. Like I've had nightmares about that before, but I remember seeing it on the saddlebag whenever I was getting off the bike. But I started screaming and howling, and I'm standing up on one leg on the peg, and I'm screaming, and he's like, "What do you want me to do?" I'm like, "I want you to get me off this bike. I want to touch the ground to get me down." And so we pull over at the Central Electric Power Company right there, and it just so happens a Rankin County SO is passing by as soon as he gets me off the bike and sits me on the ground. And I'm like, screaming and all that stuff. And you could see through my jeans. There was no blood from me. But you could see my leg was not right. And Rankin County SO pulls up. He can't believe what's going on. Like he's listening to him tell the story, but he's not getting it. Like he's sitting there looking at me and looking at the bike, and then back at him, and then back at me, and then back at the bike, back at me. Like he's in complete disbelief that we did not die, or go down. I mean, it's truly a miracle. There was so many things about that accident that the minute details of it are
Just doesn't make
insane.
sense, yeah.
It doesn't, like, for everything from this knee down to be the only thing that got jacked up is a miracle. So I end up going to EMTs come. There's 3 of them on the truck that night, for whatever reason. None of the 3 could get an IV started on me because I was so badly dehydrated and malnourished and all the things. And so I had no pain medicine. So at this point, I'm just in shock. I don't even know if I know I'm hurting, but I'm like out of it. And they take me to River Oaks or Merritt, whatever it is now. And they take me there. Still no IV was able to get started on me yet. They did a bunch of x-rays. That was about it. They was like, we can't do nothing with her. She's got to go to UMC, to the trauma center. They take me there. And I don't know how long I'm in there, but I know they escorted me off the premises in a wheelchair and pushed me basically out into the middle of the road.
Why?
Huh?
Why'd they kick you out of the hospital?
Because they had done gave me all that pain medicine, and I was coming off the meth and then the drinking, and I wanted to smoke cigarettes. I was like, y'all done got me high. I want to smoke a cigarette. And I kept on smoking cigarettes, and it was during COVID. And
Y'all got me high.
y'all done got me high. I'm going to smoke these cigarettes. And,
you got to
and
go.
the nurse kept taking my packs of cigarettes, but they had let me keep my backpack, and it had, just so happened to have 6 packs of cigarettes in it.
well, you got to go.
Yeah, you got to go. We cannot
So
have you
y'all done
on the
got me
trauma
high.
center floor smoking cigarettes in the bathroom. It's not okay. Oh, yeah.
Wonder if the deer's okay.
He was
No,
not.
of course not.
He was
Was it a buck?
It was.
decapitated.
It was a buck?
It was a buck.
You racking on.
It was. It had little spikes.
Man, it's
yeah.
amazing that bike didn't flip.
I know.
You know?
That's
I'm
Praise
telling
God,
you,
man.
there's so many things.
You have got angels of protection around you.
I do.
That's incredible.
But also during that time after that accident, I immediately had to go get all my stuff from that apartment because it was an upstairs apartment. So I had to go. I remember crawling up all those many steps to go up there so I could pack all my stuff, get it down. I was pushing stuff down the stairs, like just rolling stuff up in a
what
blanket.
ended up being wrong with your leg.
I broke the tibia plateau. I cracked it. I also had a severe PCL injury. Like, I had no idea what a PCL was until this accident. And it's like you have an ACL, an MCL, and then a PCL, which is the main stabilizer for your whole left side of your body, basically.
Yeah.
It's the ligament that keeps you stabilized.
Okay.
So everything changed after that. I don't sleep the same. I don't walk the same. I don't sit the same. I don't, I can't even sit Indian style anymore.
Yeah,
It
but
don't
you're
work.
alive. So.
But I'm so blessed to be alive. It
Praise
is.
God.
Yes, it is.
So was that it for you? Is that
Sadly,
are we
no.
getting to the point where
we're getting closer. But during that time, after the accident, like I said, I became homeless again. I went to one friend's house. That didn't last long because, like I said, I was on pain medicine and meth at that time, and I was messed that up. Really good friend. We're still friends to this day. She's a really good person. Her name's Jennifer. But I went from there, and I didn't have anywhere to go, so I had another really good friend named Carol. He was friends with my daddy, and he was like, well, just come stay with me and stay here. And I did. I stayed there for a few months, and he lives in Clinton, like he's got some land and stuff. So I would ride in my wheelchair with my Bible and stuff out to the edge of the concrete of his sidewalk back porch, and then I would basically drag my leg out into the pasture, and he feeds deer. So all these deer would like literally almost come up to me. Like they would be within reaching distance because I would be sitting there just reading the word again. And it got me really deeply into the word that time, and I would like to say that I was done, but I was using. And so there was still a lot of me that was not surrendered. And I was still trying to hang on to this relationship. I was still trying to hang on to my old friends, and I was still using. And so ended up getting a place with this married man out in Terry. And we lived
This
out
is the same married
the
man?
same married man. Yeah.
I'm ready for him to get out of this story.
So we move out to Terry, and I'm working at Wendell Steakhouse. Shout out to Wendell Steakhouse.
Shout out Wendell's.
Yeah. Started working there, and I was still in active addiction, and we moved into this place. It's right down the road. Things are not good. They're not. I'm still using, but I'm miserable. I am so miserable.
Sure.
And there was nothing fun about it. I didn't like myself. I was not someone you wanted to be around. This house had built into a hill, so it had a basement, and it had like a full service, like you could have like a full service mechanic shop downstairs. It had a oil changing, pit and everything. And I started calling it my dungeon, because I would go sit down there and stare at those cinder blocks and just smoke dope. I couldn't shoot up anymore at this. I quit doing that a couple of years before everything, because I didn't have any veins left, and I was just, my body wouldn't do it.
Was it always meth, or was there ever anything else involved?
I mean, I've been through opiate withdrawals, but
Yeah.
it was all pain pill related.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was Roxy's and stuff like that. I never shot up any of those. But I've been through opiate withdrawals. I know what it feels like. Swore I'd never do that again, and haven't. Then cocaine, weed, hallucinogens. I did a lot of hallucinogens. I mean, I would do anything pretty much you put in front of me.
It's amazing that
Yeah.
people like us can sit here and have a normal conversation.
Right. It
It's,
really
it's
is.
amazing our brains aren't just jelly.
I know.
You know, it's incredible. So you, so you're hanging out in your dungeon.
Yeah.
Let's get to the good part.
Okay. So I end up pregnant. Over the course of my life, I've had 3 abortions. Not something I'm proud of. But after the 3rd one, I felt like it messed me up, and I couldn't have kids anymore. I truly believed that I couldn't have kids. So I ended up pregnant at this point, and I was in utter disbelief. Like, even seeing the sonograms, even hearing the heartbeat, even going to all these appointments. Like, I refused to believe that I was going to have a baby. Like, it was just
You were in some deep denial.
I really was. And
Well, this was the married man, wasn't it?
yes.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yes.
This guy.
Yeah.
He's doing the most.
Yeah. So we end up he don't believe it's his, all the
Sure.
things, and which was absolutely
know.
impossible.
Yeah.
I may have been a lot of things, but loyal was always one of them.
Right. Yeah.
So I find out I'm pregnant, and I'm probably about 5 months pregnant, and I had been sitting in this dungeon for all those 5 months. And I would wake up early in the morning just to go down there, try to start my day, and then I would sit there and search for prayers for my daughter and myself. And I still have these notebooks. I ran across them the other day, actually, and reread some of my ramblings, and they were ridiculously, but there was some really good stuff in there. And but I would write these prayers, and I spent all this time I would searching scriptures again. I never felt like I was high. Every time that I would try to get high, I would throw up. It would just make me sick. That's all it would do. And so at about 5 months pregnant, I think it was, I just knew he was cheating on me, so I go and chase him down because I'm a psycho at this point. I go and I had
That doesn't get better when you're sober, by the way.
yeah, I'd like to think it does. I'm not nearly as psychotic as I was, but
Still a woman.
yeah, yeah. So I go. Somebody had told me this is where he's at. I seen him there earlier. I was like, I'm going over there. I drive over there, and I find him.
Of course.
Yeah, I find him, and
I don't like this guy.
yeah. There's restoration in that story too. I'm just coming, but I go there, and this girl's house that he's at was the girl that I said would never ever do this to me. You know what I mean? And I was like, she's the one I ain't never got to worry about. I've had to worry about all of them, but this one I don't have to worry about. And so I go and I see his truck, and I see a camera in the window. I'm like, that's the room. So I walk straight through the front door, and I go to that room, open the door, and they're there butt naked together. And whenever I go to reach for her, she put her foot up to defend herself, and it was like squared up with my stomach. And that's the moment.
Oh,
That was the moment that I said, I got, that motherly instinct kicked in. I was like, there's a baby, and that's my baby. No. And so I stepped back and I walked outside. I ran outside. Me and him are screaming and fighting and cussing at each other. She comes outside after getting dressed, sits on the steps, and she says, well, why don't you stop smoking dope? You're pregnant. And that was the last time I ever did dope.
Amen.
That was the last time I ever did dope. And so I got sober after that. And Wendell Steakhouse supported me through that. And man, they saw me. You know what I mean? Like, they supported me through that. I got put on bed rest at like 7.5 months pregnant. Ended up giving birth at 8 months instead of 9. Probably because I was trying to use the whole time. But my baby was born a preemie, perfectly healthy preemie.
Amen.
She is so beautiful.
She is amazing. I love that little girl. She is, yes. But
She on Facebook?
Man, I remember.
yes.
I'm gonna find her on Facebook.
Would you like?
Well, she's only 3, so
Oh.
she don't have a Facebook.
So not to skip ahead or anything, but I'd really love for you to share the story of the first time you walked into that CR in Pearl. I had not seen you in years.
So, that was the last time I smoked dope, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I had full intention. I had no intentions on getting clean, staying clean after I had her.
Yeah.
You know, like I got him to bring my car to me at the hospital. I drove myself home from the hospital with my newborn baby, and I was breastfeeding, so I was like, as soon as I get done breastfeeding, it's on, you know. And I'm telling you, God had totally different plans. He I ended up catching him with another friend of mine. And that was the one that made me, I was just like, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm not going to keep on doing this, you know. See. So I thought I'd probably been clean about a year. Yes, that's her. Yeah, that's her. That's my
She's
love of
so
my life right
pretty.
there. Yes, love of my life. So I don't even know if it was a year after getting off the dope. I was still hanging out with the same people, just not using. And I knew that wasn't working. Like, at my core, I knew that wasn't working. And so being around these people, I was like, you know what, I can go out with them and go have a couple of drinks. I was never an alcoholic. It's fine. You know, and I went out, I think it was 3 times. On the 3rd time, I got a DUI because the first 2 times I'd made arrangements. I was, you know, smart. I had a designated driver. I could do all the things, you know, I took care of it beforehand. The 3rd time, I just went out by myself and ended up driving home by myself and got pulled over, got a DUI. And I'm going to tell you, it's so cool. With that DUI, I had to go through the MACE out classes, do all the things, but I had to have signatures. And so I was like, well, I got this infant, you know, how am I going to go to AA meetings and get these signatures? I was like, let me try Celebrate Recovery. And so they had childcare, they served food, it counted for 2 signatures. Like, I was totally ulterior motives. I mean, totally ulterior motives. I walk in to the Celebrate Recovery in Pearl, Mississippi, and see this guy, and he gave me the best hug ever, and it just felt right. I knew in my spirit that
You were
that's
with
where I
your-
belonged, that I was
yeah.
with my people.
With your
and
new people.
Yeah, with my new people. And so I started going on Sundays there, and then I would go on Mondays at the point, and it's just, and I have not left Celebrate Recovery since.
I'll just say this. I'll just say this about that day. It blindsided me because I don't, at that point in my recovery, I hadn't run into many people, probably none as of yet, that had a relationship with Amanda. And Brandi was one that I wouldn't have expected to come out of it. My outlook on addicts now are completely different. Anybody
Sure.
can, but that was early in on my recovery. And when I saw her, and I saw life in her.
Won't he do it?
Yeah,
Yes.
because the
Amen.
last time I'd seen her, I saw death. And
Right.
this time I saw her, I mean, she was full of life. She was full of light. She was holding that baby. And I was just like,
My daughter actually took her
Wow,
first
praise
steps in that church.
yeah.
She did.
Shout out Grace Church. in Pearl,
Yes,
man.
Grace Church in Pearl.
And yeah, that was big for my recovery too. I want you to know that did something to me.
I probably wouldn't have stayed if you wouldn't have been there. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
We
would.
had a long
Well,
talk.
God had
No.
that all worked out.
He did.
You know,
Yeah.
God, that's what he does.
He
is He makes
does.
those divine appointments that help
Yes.
us take the next right step.
That's right.
Yeah, we had a very long talk that day. We talked about Amanda a lot, and I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
I won't. So,
Amazing.
so, but anyway, all right. So you were after you graduated. So you started going to the point. Because I know the grace thing didn't last very long.
It
But
didn't, and that's why I
Yeah.
really started going to the point. And plus,
Yeah.
I got involved in a class there with Brandi Renae, and
Ooh,
yeah,
amen.
yeah, and it
I
was
love
just,
Brandi.
yeah, I do
Ooh.
too. And like the way that they loved on me was exactly what I needed. You know what I mean? The support was
Their
something I'd
love
never
was
had.
pinnacle in my testimony.
It really is, and they have done. Her and Aubrey have just
shout out all things new.
yes,
We love all things
Jaya,
new.
all
Yeah.
of them have just loved
Yeah.
on me, and I'm so grateful for everything. Like the divinely orchestrated things that have occurred. Like nobody else could have done it but God.
So
I'm
what-
sorry.
So what you lacked pretty much your whole life, was just that attention and that love through people that only
Mhm.
God can provide. And until you fully surrendered and gave it over to Him and got around the right people, yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's what it was.
that's exactly what it
So
was.
what are you doing now? Like, are you teaching?
Yes. Teach with Celebrate Recovery. I work in a rehab now. I quit waiting table.
You what?
I work in a rehab.
Which one?
In Defining Wellness Treatment Centers.
Come on.
Amen.
I've been there for a little bit over a year. If you would have asked me 5 years ago where I would be, and you would have told me that I was going to be working in a rehab, doing a podcast,
You'd been asking what
and
con you were
teaching
running.
I would have laughed in your face and been like, "Give me some of what you're smoking because that's not possible. There's no way
Right.
I could have ever imagined the life I'm living now."
Well, you have a beautiful testimony.
Yeah.
Thank you,
What are you addicted to now?
Dr. Pepper.
In Jesus?
In Jesus,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, what
Pepper.
does
No.
you see the look on her
I
face as
did.
she looked at me?
Dr.
She was
Pepper.
almost offended.
Yeah.
I would be.
Dr. Pepper and Jesus,
You never
baby.
know. You never know what I'm going to say. What does being addicted to Jesus look like day to day?
Oh goodness, surrender.
Mhm.
Being addicted to him.
Yes.
It's peace.
Yeah, man.
Peace.
Come on.
I mean, yeah, I still struggle with some mental health issues. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think we all do.
I mean, I do. I mean, the years that I did damage to my brain, it's pretty much unavoidable. But
Well, it's a
I have a
process.
peace about me. I move different. I'm lame. Dude. I don't do nothing, and I'm good with that.
I get called lame at least a dozen times a day. Shout out Kayla.
You're doing something right then.
Well, shout out Kayla. I know she's going to watch this eventually, but she makes sure that's how she shows love. She makes sure to let me know every time I make a TikTok or anything like. She makes sure she lets me know how lame I am. I don't care.
I think my 5-year-old
but
thinks
you know
I'm
what?
lame.
But you know what? Jesus heals the lame.
Yeah, he
so
does.
I'm waiting on that.
That's right.
I'm waiting on that healing.
That's right.
All right, so we're gonna get close to closing this out. What would you say to the woman? And I want you to look at the camera when you answer this question. What would you say to the woman watching right now who hates herself and thinks she's already ruined everything?
You're not that powerful. No, I'm just kidding. No, you're not powerful enough for God's grace and mercy. That's what I mean whenever I say that. You can do hard things. You can do things that you never thought you could. If you trust Jesus, He's going to guide you every step of the way. You just got to surrender and let Him.
Amen.
Amen.
So I like to do these rapid fire questions at the end, these real quick ones. Coffee or energy drink?
Coffee.
Yep.
One word to describe the old you.
Lost.
One word to describe who you are now.
Saved.
Amen. That's a good answer. Jail Bible or church Bible?
Jail Bible.
I know, right? I know.
Look, that life recovery Bible's
That
been with me a long time.
There is something special about that life recovery Bible. Let me tell
It
you.
really
Look,
is.
If you walk in my living room right now,
I'm
that's
telling you,
next to my
I've
couch.
got the big study one that's bit large print, and I read
Me
it
too.
every day, and that thing speaks to me. It
Well, I
does.
actually have 4 Bibles next to my couch, but that one's on top.
Yeah. Worship music or silence?
Worship music.
I knew you were going to. When you hear Black Sheep, what comes to mind?
You, my dear.
No. Amen.
Yes.
Hardest thing to surrender to God.
Mm. My own will.
Yeah, that's a good. Biggest lie addiction told you.
I would never be anything.
Hmm. Boy, he lied to you.
He did. I believed it almost there for a long time.
What's your favorite scripture?
Life verse is Jeremiah 29:11. I've really been hanging on to Romans 8:28 here recently.
Ooh, what is it? What is, I know what it is. What is it?
God works all things together for the good of those who love
For
him and
those
are
who love
called
him.
according to his purpose.
Come on. That is one of my
Mm,
favorites,
yeah.
bro. What would you tell the black sheep who hates herself? I think I asked you.
You did.
I did. Okay.
Mm.
One thing you wish younger you knew.
And be loved.
Amber, do you have anything?
I'm just mesmerized right now. I think it's because the episode that you have me co-hosting for is such a similar parallel story. And one day we'll have to sit down and talk, but you have a very parallel story to mine. And it is beautiful to see Jesus do what he does
Yes.
for the person that feels lost, for the orphan, the woman trying to find validation, the woman that becomes a mom and has no idea how to be a mom and walks you through every bit of it. And I just sat here listening to your whole story. I thought I would talk more. I think everyone probably did, but you have a beautiful God has done a beautiful work in you.
He has.
So I'm grateful to be a part of it, sit here and listen.
Well, Brandi, I want to thank you for joining us today. I want to thank you for being brave, sharing your testimony, and blessing us. You blessed us in a very powerful testimony. And you know how much I love you so much. You're like, just like Amber. I can say that. I do want to say this, that, I did lose my little sister. I did. But God seems to be putting all these little sisters in my life, man. I've got so many little sisters that
Amen.
That's
I recently was scrolling through TikTok, and at the moment I had been thinking about Amanda, and I was scrolling through TikTok, and this shirt came up on the TikTok shop that said, "I love my little sister," and I immediately ordered that. And I know that just doesn't apply to her, because I have so many little sisters that I love and care about just as much, that I want to be protective over, just like Amanda.
right.
So I love you like my little sister. I love you like I
I
love
love
Amanda.
you too, John.
So to close this out, I want to thank you for watching, listening on Spotify. If you're new here, please remember to hit that subscribe button, comment, share, like, do all the things. It helps. It's a great way to support, and it helps us. If you'd like to partner with Black Sheep Recovery Warfare, you can do that through the website at blacksheeprecoverywarfare.org. You can the Cash App, the Venmo, and you can mail us a check. It's all listed in the episode description. And I want to thank Danny Anderson and Audio Alchemy Productions for letting us do this here. Can't do it without him. He's a huge part of Black Sheep. He's been with us from the beginning. And thank you, Amber. Thank you for coming in from Monaco. And that's another one of my
Humbled.
little sisters.
Yeah.
Until next time,